This is the famous lava cake at Chili's, the same item at Applebee's, and then a lava cake from a fancy seafood place nearby. And I'm sure many of you guys have seen at least one version of these cakes before. In fact, all three of these cakes are not made at the restaurant themselves, instead made at a commercial kitchen hundreds of miles away by a national food distributor like Restaurant Depot, Cisco, US Food, or others. When you take a look at chocolate lava cakes around Washington, D.C., where I live, this becomes way more apparent. They all kind of look the same. These lava cakes may be dressed up with ice cream and topped with whipped cream, but they all have a familiar shape and size. Take a look at this. This exact cake that you see in these photos can be purchased in a pack of 12 from Restaurant Depot, basically the Costco for restaurants, for just $30. This means that many of these cakes only really cost these restaurants $2.50, while they're resold at these restaurants anywhere from $8 to $18. And it also does not matter where you're talking about, whether it's your local Italian spot or some fancy exclusive Mediterranean date night spot. These items are identical. In fact, these places all source their desserts from giant food distributors who deliver these lava cakes throughout the week. These desserts are then simply unthawed by the staff and reheated by them to serve the customer. And sometimes these desserts are not even fully unfrozen, leading to semi-frozen cheesecakes like these that I've definitely experienced before. So why is this the case at some of these restaurants? And why don't restaurants simply make their desserts from scratch, especially if we're spending our hard-earned money? To be fair, not all restaurants outsource their desserts. Your local Gordon Ramsay approved restaurants might only source raw ingredients like sugar, flour from food distributors, which are then used by pastry chefs to make unique in-house desserts. But this is time-consuming as well as costly. For example, a popular chain like Founding Farmers around me is famous for their fried chicken and donuts, which are all made in-house at the Founding Farmer Reston Station. There are also numerous other restaurants who buy from local bakeries as well, but this may be impossible for many of these small restaurants, or those with limited staff, limited expertise, or simply money. This is why every Kitchen Nightmare episode has at least 10 minutes of Gordon Ramsay shouting about how they only serve frozen meals and charge top dollars, and not much has really changed since the show ended. This Vox video does a great job at explaining why desserts are the same, and it is the reason why I started to research for this video in the first place. Restaurants have really low profit margins, which really vary depending on what type of restaurant the owner has, and the majority of the money that a restaurant earns is from entrees as well as drinks. Outside of these categories, your profit margin is relatively low. Pastry chefs are often the first one to go during a budget cut or recession. This is also compounded by the increased cost of operations, food, beverage, labor, rent, insurance, utilities, and of course inflation. This means that the restaurant industry is highly competitive, and many restaurants feel the pressure to offer a limited, easily managed menu including desserts to streamline operation as well as reduce cost. Basically, pastries are not well valued or respected in the food industry. Instead, food distributors like Cisco give owners an easy way out, allowing them to buy in bulk at close to wholesale and not retail price for raw ingredients and even pre-cooked options like desserts. I recently went to a Restaurant Depot in Alexandria, Virginia with my girlfriend, where we found a huge quantity of common restaurant items, like a 10-pound bag of chicken nuggets, a gallon of barbecue sauce, and my favorite restaurant cake. Other options like Cisco allow a restaurant to buy 50-pound bags of sugar, flour, rice, gallon jugs of cooking oil, and a whole lot more simply online. Both of these places also have an entire dessert section filled with cheesecakes, chocolate cakes, tiramisu, and much more. And all these items are made in factories and frozen to ensure quality and pre-cut to make it easier on owners. We even managed to find the famous chocolate lava cake that is everywhere for just $30. In the United States, the most popular items include cheesecakes, chocolate lava cakes, tiramisu, since most people enjoy these items and they can be easily outsourced. The same thing also happens in other countries. In France, this includes creme caramel, fruit salad, and chocolate mousse. In the UK, where I used to live, this includes sticky toffee pudding, chocolate fudge cake, as well as warm chocolate brownies. And all these items, even if you're in another country, comes from a factory thousands of miles away. And it's also very typical for these restaurants to only have room for 3 to 5 dessert options on the menu. And you can see here that the most common strategy is to simply offer the most reliable options, which tend to be the most boring, generic, or ubiquitous. And there's also a concept called the paradox of choice, introduced by psychologist Barry Schwartz, which found that presenting customers with too many options caused them to not choose at all. So if you're a new restaurant building out a dessert menu, why take the chance on some bizarre menu with unique items that customers may not understand or want? And even if you're not, why fix something that is already working? Research also indicates that younger generations, in particular Gen Z and millennials, are more likely to buy desserts at restaurants compared to other generations. And this is why so many restaurants choose to outsource their dessert production simply because it's been working, and relying on manufacturers for pre-cut options like cake, ice cream, and pastries makes sense. And restaurants can't really take desserts and only have room for 3 to 5 dessert options. And thus you get into a weird situation where countless establishments are all serving the same things. And you had to remember from earlier that desserts are really the first things to go whenever we're talking about economic concerns or even dietary concerns. And it's really at the lower point of the gastronomic as well as price scale. And it's probably the course that's least missed since it's really optional and a lot of people don't even order desserts in the first place. And although many restaurants do have a pastry chef, despite this, many simply don't. And outsourcing through Sysco, Restaurant Depot, or even Costco might simply be a better option. Sysco is one of the largest suppliers to restaurants in the world and did roughly $78 billion in sales in 2024, which included places like restaurants, hospitals, hotels, and even schools. And yes, you might be unknowingly eating from a Sysco place when you're at school, whenever you visit a hotel, or whenever you're eating out. And the only difference here, however, is the quality of the prepaid food that the business decides to order. Schools and hospitals usually order lower quality items while restaurants pay higher prices for better products. And Sysco also controls regional as well as national chains from Wendy's, Applebee's to the Cheesecake Factory. And this also includes hotels such as the Embassy Suite as well as Hilton's. And each of these places all order from Sysco, but what they order really depends on the business. And the truth is that it's simply not worth it for many of these restaurants and hotels and schools to make foods themselves. As a result, things like desserts as well as meals are outsourced to save as well as make restaurants money. And some of these places even outsource 100% of their menu to Sysco as well as one of the other national food distributors. For example, at Sysco you can buy pre-made meatloaves, pot roast, as well as many other entrees. And many of these restaurant owners simply order these items for delivery online or through the phone. In fact, this is a common problem in the food industry where restaurants rely too much on these national distributors. And not to mention that Costco fries are frequently used by these restaurants, and some restaurants have even been caught using Popeye chicken as part of the menu. But it's important to mention that Sysco has been around for more than 50 years, and they sell high quality as well as low quality stuff. And some of the best restaurants rely on Sysco only for their raw ingredients and prepare everything in-house, while others rely on Sysco for everything. The problem thus is not the major food distributors but the individual owners who decide to take shortcuts. But when this is said and done, most of these places can only score mediocre reviews, especially if they outsource everything. And it's not hard to taste low quality meals as well as meals that are preheated. And for many eaters, including myself, whether or not a place makes things from scratch makes really all the difference. The average bill nowadays can range from $40 to $100 or more, and it really doesn't sound fair that many of these locations are simply reheating stuff in the oven or microwave. And the next time you visit a place, it might be wise to ask if the dessert or even entrees are made in the house. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. I hope you guys enjoyed. And for more content like this, make sure to follow this channel where I mix economics, culture, and something that we all love, and in this case, desserts.